Hey, good morning to everybody. Happy Wednesday. It's Daryl here. It's bright and freaking early, man. It's 7 a.m. here in Connecticut on the East Coast. Okay, a couple incidents occurred here in the last month during Pride Month here in Connecticut, and I wasn't sure if I was going to talk about them or not because these are touchy subjects. They involve things that I have to be careful how I talk about, especially on a monetized channel. And I really wanted to talk about. I've talked about them before. It's hateful rhetoric about the LGBTQ community. And again, these are two incidents that happened in Enfield, Connecticut here in the last month. And I'll talk about them in a second. The links will be down below. And I feel very strongly about this because what happened to me when I was from the ages of 10 or 11 till I was 14 years old. And the rhetoric that these people are putting out, these far-right evangelical nut jobs are putting out, it's just false information. And then I came across an article in a Republican newspaper, and it's got to do with the Dunning-Kruger effect, and it kind of connects it all together. All right, let me start at the very beginning here. These two incidents happened in Enfield, Connecticut. Like I said, the links will be right down below. In the first one, a service at a church was interrupted by two gentlemen who started yelling and screaming during the service. This church is in Enfield, Connecticut, and they're celebrating Pride Month, and there's pride flags. You can see the video down below. And there's pride flags all inside the church, along the pews and everything. And these two gentlemen get up and start screaming their hateful rhetoric right in the middle of service. I'll have a link down below if I could find it again. It's from Twitter. And I was just disgusted and shocked and amazed at all the Twitter comments to this video. Again, I'll try to put that link down below. They all said this is free speech, and they had every right to do this. And when I see stuff like this, from time to time, I want to confirm that I'm on the right side, that I have the right viewpoint of this. And when I see stuff like this, people calling this free speech, interrupting church services, speeches, services, ceremonies, for supposed free, for their hateful version of things, it makes me realize that I am on the right side, so to speak. Okay, so then there's another incident that has happened around the town of Enfield with literature being thrown on people's lawns. It's 2 pages, and on one of these pages, it's got false information, and this is what makes me angry. It's got false information about drag shows, gay people, and underage children, and blaming the LGBTQ community in drag shows. They have some kind of like fake, false percentages and whatnot. Down below, and this is the thing that really gets me angry. I'll have the link down below for the actual real statistics. 60% of incidents of molestation happen with people, friends or acquaintances of the family. Another 20% is by the family themselves. And then 10% is complete strangers. I know this because it happened to me. The man, I've talked about this before, a policeman, a supposedly straight policeman who was dating my mother after my father died, molested me from the ages of 11 till I was 14 years old. A supposedly straight policeman, a good, upstanding, he had all these distinguished awards and all this other stuff. And here he was grabbing me down below and saying, "Hey, Daryl, how's the stem of your stinger?" And it gets way worse. The stuff he did to me is just, it'll make your hair curl. You name it, it happened. And then I get so angry when I see these people pushing this rhetoric, blaming the LGBTQ community for this stuff. And it gets me angry for 2 reasons. Because they also say that among gay people there's a high incidence of depression and suicide. And if you think about that, maybe some of it has to do with them being falsely accused of stuff like this. Of course that would bother anybody. But then the other thing that bothers me is they are giving the actual perpetrators of this, the friends and acquaintances of family, it gives them it lets them get away with it. It points the attention elsewhere. It just drives me crazy. The links will be down below. And people really believe this. They see, these literature thrown on the lawns. They really start to believe that the LGBTQ community is villainous. I came across an article, and I want to read this to you. This is a little story that I've never heard before, and it was in the Republican newspaper, but it seems to be about the Dunning-Kruger effect. And I've never heard this before, and I kind of like it. So let me read this story, this little fable or whatever to you. Okay. Your point of view sometimes depends on where you're standing. I have this story in mind of a crowd of people exiting an elevator on the 7th floor of a 12-story building, all believing that they've arrived at the top floor. From here, they have a great view and are convinced that they know all there is to know about what they can see before them. Meanwhile, the people on the 12th floor have a different point of view. From here, they have a 360-degree view, which they've ascertained that they don't know. How it is the view from the 7th floor has become the dominant view? Question mark. It is impossible for some to realize there is a higher, more visible, and enlightened view? Question mark. Have some become so emboldened in group thinking that they are deaf and blind to the knowledge embraced on the top floor? Imagine the steps it takes to get from the 7th floor to the 12th floor. Now imagine for a moment not even knowing that there's a 12th floor. Almost unimaginable. You see what I'm saying here? In other words, I kind of could relate to this. I've been through this. I've actually seen it. I kind of feel like I'm on the 12th floor. I was assaulted by a friend of the family, a supposedly straight cop. Then there's the people that are convinced that the LGBTQ community, like with these flyers, are the villainous people here. And it drives me crazy, like I said, because for two reasons. It puts this terrible stigma on the LGBT community, which they don't deserve. And at the same time, it hides the real perpetrators that are doing this stuff. It lets them get away with this stuff unnoticed, which drives me insane and makes me remember what happened to me. I hope this all makes sense. Links will be down below for these two incidents, these two disturbing incidents in Enfield, Connecticut. Have a good Wednesday.